Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here to talk to you guys about some of our updated financial goals. So a little bit about me. My name is Sarah. I am a full-time self-employed entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. I have my Etsy shop where I sell budgeting tools, and I also do videos here on YouTube. My husband Jason is a stay-at-home dad to our 2 little girls, and this has all recently happened. Like, before I was doing this full-time, a month ago I was an accountant and I was doing this as my side business, so a lot has changed within the last month or so. I did a video a couple weeks ago talking about our financial goals, and 2 of those goals were to start paying off some of our mortgage, or some of the principal of our mortgage, and also to move. We plan to move to Colorado in the next year or so, and so we figured we'd start putting money towards our mortgage so that when we sell it, ultimately we would make more money. Because if we, within that year, put more money towards principal, then the interest will go down. And so instead of having a ton of money go towards interest, we would be putting more towards our principal and hopefully make money, if that makes sense. I've legit tried to film this video like 3 times today, and we're just gonna power through and just do it. So since that video, we have paid money towards our principal. We've paid over $50,000. We paid a lump sum of $50,000 towards the principal, and then we have sold things, we've done all kinds of stuff, and we've paid additional money towards it down. You guys know that the last week or 2 weeks, I've talked a lot about budgeting. I've talked a lot about other YouTubers and podcasts and stuff that I've been watching, and I'm just gonna start by saying Dave has worn me down. Dave Ramsey, I have been listening to him nonstop. I've been watching his YouTube channel nonstop. And when I originally started watching him again, because I did read his book a while back, me and Jason have always been really big into like paying debt. We don't want to have stuff over our heads. And so we always knew that we would do all of this stuff, but we really didn't know the timing of everything. And I honestly, I really do think the reason why I am like jump started to do all of this all of a sudden is because of the big life change that I've had. Like, quitting my job of almost 7 years is very big. It's a big deal for me. I am not very good with change. And so doing that really just made me think like I need to be on top of our finances, because this is a big change. We went from basically having 2 incomes to having 1 income. And so it's just a big change. So when I say that Dave wore me down, what I mean is, when I first started watching him again, I was thinking, you know, we have no debts. We have credit cards, but we pay them off completely every single month. There's never a balance. We never pay interest. And we have our car payment. We bought a RAV4 for Jason 2 years ago. It's our family car. And we honestly, when we first bought the car, at that point in time, like that same month, we paid off my car, which had like a couple $1,000s left on the loan, and we paid off my student loans, which I think were like $20,000. So we were big into paying off our debts. But when we found Jason's car, we were able to get less than a 1% interest rate on the car. And we're like, you know what? We can pay this off right away. Like, we'll pay this off in like a year if we can. Like, we'll just throw all of our extra money towards it. And then we spoke with like the financial person there at the Toyota dealership, and they're like, you know, you don't really have to pay this down. It's like $700 worth of interest. It's not that big of a deal. Like, over the entire loan, $700. And after that, me and Jason are like, you know what? That's not that much money. Like, honestly, having that extra money in our bank account is worth it more to us than like $700. But then I've been listening to Dave, and honestly, the numbers don't make a ton of sense to pay it off, because our interest rate with our mortgage is probably like 4 times what our interest rate is for our car. Like, our car is under 1%. I think our mortgage is over 4%. But it's just, and Dave says this all the time, sometimes it's not the numbers, sometimes it's more just emotions or mental. And so although the numbers might not make sense to pay off the car and stop paying towards mortgage, that's ultimately what we're gonna do. We're gonna pay off Jason's car. And I think for me, again, it's not so much the numbers, it's more just the fact that I know that I owe somebody something and I don't want to owe anybody anything. I have never really liked that. And the more that we like try and prepare for our future, you know that this is a temporary thing. Right now, this is very temporary. Our lives honestly feel like they're kind of on hold because we know that we're not gonna stay here. We're not gonna stay in this house. And we know that we like want a different life. We want to live somewhere else, but we're kind of waiting to see how things kind of roll out and all of that fun stuff. But this is one thing that we can change. And I really want to set us up better for the future because we have so many goals. I specifically have so many goals about where I want my business to go, where we want to be financially, and in no situation is having a car payment in that future. That's not where we want to be. So in the next 3 to 4 months, we're gonna start paying off Jason's car, and I'm hoping that it's 3 to 4 months, but we'll kind of see how long it takes. And then after that, we'll continue to pay off the mortgage and we'll start saving for moving because we do plan to list our house in the spring, and as soon as it sells, we're moving because we are not tied down to anything. We plan to rent in Colorado for at least a year, so doing that really makes us flexible. Like, we don't have to wait for this house to sell so we can buy another house. But regardless, Dave wore me down. And when I first started watching him again, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna worry about this. I'm gonna just keep the loan, like we'll have it for another couple of years. And then I kept listening to the stories. I kept listening to him say that, like, in all of the surveys that I did of millionaires, nobody became a millionaire by having debt. And it just made me think, like, you know, yes, it's gonna sting to put that money towards the car now, but one, when we pay it off, then that car's ours. We owe nobody, which will be a great feeling. Two, Jason and I agreed that going forward, we're not gonna have any more car payments. We are going to save up money in cash and pay it off completely, like buy a car in cash, because my goals financially going forward, and I haven't really talked a ton about this, and I feel like this video is like all over the place already because I've tried to film this so many times and I feel like my brain is just mush of what I've said and what I haven't said. But we're gonna pay off the car, and then in a year or so we're gonna get another mortgage, because realistically the types of houses that we're looking at, there's no way that we can save up that amount of money within such a short period of time. And we need to have something more solid because I can't grow my business until we move, and Macy's gonna start kindergarten soon, so we really need to like figure things out. But having no car payment will open up $500 per month so that we could put that towards the next house or towards saving for the girls' colleges or whatever it may be. But after doing that, after paying off the car, the only thing that we're gonna have to pay is our mortgage. And Jason and I both agree that we're hoping after buying our house within 5 years we can pay off the mortgage. And that's aggressive. I know that that's going to be hard, and I know that we're going to have to continue living the way that we are now to be able to do that and not having expensive hobbies or spending extra on this or that. But that's ultimately where we want to be. We want to, like, how great would it be for us? And Jason's a little bit older, so it wouldn't be exactly him, but like, how great would it be for me to be 35 years old and to have my mortgage completely paid off and all of that money go towards retirement and go towards the girls' college and go towards fun. Like, we could go on fun vacations, we could do so much, we could invest, we could give, we could do so much for so many people if we were able to do that. I'm gonna be 29 in September, so within 6 years that's totally possible. I think it's definitely my long-term goal of like what I want to do in the next 5-6 years. And so this is the first step in that. So again, our goal is still to move to Colorado within a year. It may even be sooner than that, depending on what happens. We are in the next month or so going to visit Colorado to check out different cities and stuff. We have narrowed it down to 2 different towns, so that's super exciting. But right now, we're gonna focus on the car. We're gonna focus on getting out of debt when it comes to the car, because that's all we have. And once we do that, then we can continue to pay off our mortgage. We can start saving for our big move, which is super exciting and like crazy to think about, the fact that we need to start doing that. And then we'll go forward. But that is our up-to-date goals, financial goals, and I guess moving goals, if you want to call them that. Let me know down below. What are your goals? What are you guys working on? I feel like it's always really fun to hear other people, and I feel like it's inspiring as well, because when I listen to the debt-free screams on Dave Ramsey's show, or when I hear people call in and say that they like are millionaires or whatever, it just makes me think like this is possible for anybody. It doesn't matter where you start, because honestly, if you knew half of my story of where I come from, you would be shocked. Honestly, things are so different for me from where they used to be, like in high school, so different. And most of it had nothing to do with me, but still, I always get choked up over the calls where Dave is like, you changed your family tree, because I did. Jason's family is more normal when it comes to like money and that type of stuff, but within my own family, I've changed our girls' lives. Like, they will never have to live the way that I lived, and I love that. It like almost makes me want to cry every time I think about that. So I just think too how amazing it will be for them, for their colleges to be completely funded, for them to know that their house is paid for. So no matter what happens, they will always live in that house. And that's where we're headed. That's what I'm hoping for. So anyway, let me know what your guys' goals are down below. I hope you enjoyed hearing an up-to-date version of what we're doing. I don't think anything is going to change. I think Jason and I are on the same page when it comes to paying it off. When I approached him about it, because it was honestly me who approached him, he was like, let's do it. Let's do it. You've never, he's like, you've never steered me wrong before. So it's always been me when it comes to debt. I feel like I just kind of get fed up with stuff, and I'm like, you know what? After I see that we're paying like $15 a day for interest for the car, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, no, I am not giving you $15. It's just funny because every time we've paid something off, it's always been me approaching Jason for it. So like, I remember I was in the shower in our tiny apartment right after we got married, and I knew that Jason's student loans were going to becoming due and that we would have to start paying them. And I was in the shower and I'm like, you know what? We have money in our savings account right now. Like, let's pay them off. And the next day we paid off all of Jason's student loans. And then we started making very aggressive payments towards my student loans because they weren't due yet. We weren't paying interest on them yet. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do as much as we can, and then we'll just make a big lump sum and pay those off too. And every time he's been super supportive, and he's like, let's do it, let's do it. And so I always think it's super funny when I like sit him down, because we were at dinner on our date night, and I'm like, you know what? You're probably not gonna like me saying this, but I think we should pay off the car. I think we should just pay it off. We'll have no payments. We'll keep paying off the mortgage after that, but like, let's do it. And he's like, okay, okay. So funny. That guy is the most chill guy. If you can find a Jason out there who is like super chill when it comes to finances, he lets you boss him around. I'm just kidding. I don't boss him around, but he does. He's so chill. He's not a spender at all, which is great, because I think that would be a struggle for me if someone was like always wanting to spend money on stuff that they didn't need, but it's just great. So if you can find a Jason, do it, because he is chill. He is always up for everything, and he is big into Dave Ramsey as well. He used to listen to Dave a lot, and now I feel like I listen to him a little bit more, but he's always super chill when it comes to, you know, paying stuff off. And he's in the same boat as me. He understands like we owe it, so it just doesn't make sense to keep that there. So anyway, I've rambled for long enough. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing our update. Again, let me know what you guys are working towards. What are your goals? I feel like it's always super inspiring to hear other people's goals, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.